I am making a dinosaur deck profile mainly because I took it to my locals, which does 2 tournaments a week, and I won both of them with dinosaur. So I figured, why not make a dinosaur deck profile? Where tournament 1, I had one against Flunderies and Flunderies, Punk, Zombie, and Branded. And then tournament 2, I won against Hero, Branded, and Adventure Grand Maju. Although I will admit, the only reason I won against Grand Maju was because one person noticed that there was a misplay. Both of us not realizing, or neither of us realizing, that Lost World has the effect that while your opponent controls a token and not a Jura Egg token, that they can't target other monsters. But overall, I like how the deck is. There's only 2 cards I would change with the extra deck, which would be a Gigantosaur and Underworld Goddess, as those need to be Link Karibo and Secure Gardena, so that your Animadorned Argosaur is not dead on the... or, not dead. So the Animadorned Argosaur is not just there. I'll explain later. Anyway, for the monsters, I play 2 Animadorned Argosaur. Argosaur has the effect that when it's normal or special summoned, once per turn, you can destroy 1 other dinosaur monster you want from your field or hand, to then be able to add double evolution pill from deck to hand. Which the reason for that is so that you can summon Animadorn, link it off for Link Karibo, link off Link Karibo for Secure Gardena, and then you already have a life pill. Then I play 3 copies of Baby Ceratosaurus. Baby Ceratosaurus has the effect that if it's destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you summon a level 4 or lower dinosaur from deck to field. Then Petite Tyranno has the same effect, except it summons a level 4 or higher, and the summoned monster can't attack that turn. These 2 monsters are important as neither of them are once per turn, so if you can keep destroying the babies, keep doing it. Just because that is important for them, as they help you to extend. Then I play 1 copy of Scrap Chimera and 2 copies of Scrap Raptor. Scrap Raptor has the effect that once per turn you can target 1 monster you control, destroy it, and then if Scrap Raptor is destroyed by a scrap effect, you can then add a scrap monster from your deck to your hand other than Scrap Raptor. And I just realized I forgot the other part of Raptor's effect that targets 1 monster on your field and destroys it gives you the additional normal summon of a scrap monster. So normally you do with this is you just have Scrap Raptor target itself, destroy it, add Chimera, normal Chimera, summon the Raptor, and then you could make a Link 2, or just depending on what else you have, make a rank 4. The only downside is Chimera has the effect that it can't be used as stinker material unless it's a scrap monster, which at times makes me wish I was playing Scrap Dragon. Then I play 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. Oviraptor has 2 effects where on summon, you can either add or send a dinosaur from your deck. You can take a dinosaur from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. And then once per turn, you can target 1 level 4 or lower dinosaur monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do, summon a dinosaur from your grave in defense position. Which most of the time you'll end up targeting an opponent's Jura Egg token, so you can save it off the field spell. Then I play 1 copy of Giant Rex, 1 Megalo Smasher X, and 1 copy of Miscellaneous Source. Giant Rex can be special summoned once per turn if it's removed from play, and then it gains 200 attack for each of your banished dinosaurs. And then, however, Giant Rex cannot attack when this effect is used, or can't attack. It can't attack directly. Megalo Smasher is in this deck because it's a normal monster, as Xenometeorus lets you summon normal monsters from deck, And Megalo Smasher being a level 4 normal monster is why you play it. And then Miscellaneous is in this deck because it's a really dumb level 4 monster. I wish it were at 3, but oh well. Miscellaneous has the effect of, during the main phase, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the grave so that all your dinosaur monsters are unaffected by your opponent's activated card effects during that main phase only. And then you banish it from your graveyard, as well as any other number of other dinosaur monsters from your grave, to then be able to special summon a dinosaur from your deck equal to the number you banished. Which normally it's only going to be one, so you can summon Animadorned. Then I also play one copy of Scrap Golem. Scrap Golem has the effect that once per turn you try a scrap in your graveyard, summon it to either side of the field. I say the either side of the field because one of my hands at the locals I went to, I was able to make my end board because I was able to summon Ultimate Conductor, have Golem summon Scrap Raptor to my opponent's side of the field, and then have Tyranno destroy a baby in my hand to then be able to summon Overraptor and make the end board I wanted. Then I also play 3 copies of Xeno Meteorus. Meteorus can be special summoned from your hand once per turn if a card or cards on the field is destroyed. And then it also has the effect that once per turn you can destroy a monster in your hand or face-up field to then be able to special summon a normal dinosaur from your deck. However, if you do, you're locked into Dinosaur, Dragon, Sea Serpent, and Worm from the extra deck. Which, that already immediately eliminates all but one of the links, and I think two synchros and nothing else. And you can only use each effect as Xeno Meteorus once per turn, which is the other thing. Then I also play one copy of Dagoran, one Pinkertops, and one Frostosaurus. Dagoran the Mad Flame Kaiju can only be, can summon itself to your opponent's field by tributing one monster they control, which most of the time will be monsters like can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, or unaffected by opponent's activated card effects while your life points are lower than your opponent's, which Punk Zombie just turbos out Psychic and Punisher. And then Pinkertops can summon itself to your field while you control less monsters than your opponent. And then during the main phase quick effect, you contribute one Dino Wrestler, target one card on your opponent's side of the field and destroy it. Which, its cost is tributing a Dino Wrestler and targeting. So if your opponent has something like Called By, they can target the Pinkertops engrave and banish it and just be sad. And then Frostosaurus is in here because it's a level 6 normal monster, which you can summon off as Xeno Meteorus to make Evil's RLRs easier. Then for the boss monster, I play everyone's favorite or least favorite dinosaur, depending on whether they're playing it or going against it. 3 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Most people only play 2. I really like it at 3, just because it helps me for being more aggressive when I need to be. Which usually, if I'm siding for going first, then I'll side one of the Ultimate Conductors out. But if I'm going second, I'll keep all 3 in. But Ultimate Conductor can't be normal summoned or set. You must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 2 dinosaurs from your graveyard when apply. And then once per turn during the main phase quick effect, you can destroy 1 monster from your hand or field to be able to flip all monsters your opponent controls face down. Excuse me. And then it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And if it attacks a monster in defense position, you can, before damage calculation, you can send that monster to the graveyard and then inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent. The main thing that I like destroying off of Tyranno's effect is either a baby or Transcendosaurus Gigantozauler, as Gigantozauler plus Tyranno has 2 interruptions. As Tyranno can flip things face down, And then Gigantozauer can return a baby to hand and then destroy an opponent's card. Which, since they're face down, if they were normally unaffected, they aren't. Or they are, no. Anyway, for the spells, I play 1 copy of Feather Duster. This deck does not like back row. 1 copy of Terraforming. This lets you add a field spell from your deck to your hand. 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill. Double Evolution Pill lets you banish a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur from hand or graveyard, to then be able to special summon a level 7 or higher dinosaur from your deck, ignoring summoning conditions. This is primarily how you'll be summoning Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, but you can summon other things if needed, like Dinosaur Pankratops or Dagorn if you know your opponent's playing Kaijus. As that's actually one thing I did, was I summoned Dagorn in my field so that my board couldn't be hit by cards like Gamma Seal. Then I also play 2 copies of Lightning Storm, just for the same reason as Feather Duster. As if you control no face-up cards, you can activate it to destroy all face-up attack position monsters your opponent controls, or all your opponent's spells and traps. Which, again, this deck does not like back row. I believe one of the cards I'm actually supposed to be citing, I say supposed to because I kind of slapped a side deck together, is actually supposed to be cards like Twin Twister or Cosmic Cyclone, just to deal with more back row. Then I play 3 copies of Lost World. Lost World has, I believe, 4 effects. The first one makes all non-dinosaurs lose 500 attack and defense. The second is when a dinosaur monster is normal or special summoned, you can give your opponent a Jura Egg token. While they control the token for the third effect, they can't target other monsters on the field besides the token. And if a normal monster on the field be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy a dinosaur in your deck instead. And you can only use each effect of Lost World once per turn. Which, normally what you do with this is you normal summon Overraptor, go chain 1 Overraptor, chain 2 Lost World, so that Overraptor can't be ashed, though it can still be Imperm, Veilered, hit by any hand trap it targets. But this gives your opponent a Jura Egg token, while you can have the Raptor send Miscellaneous to grave. Then you can activate Raptor's effect, target the token, destroy a baby in deck to save the token, and then be able to summon off of the baby. But basically this just helps you to make your end boards a lot easier. And it also makes it so that you can chain block and make it so your opponent can't target your monsters as long as they control a token. Then I play 3 of the most broken Searcher in this deck, being 3 copies of Fossil Dig. Just lets you add a level 6 or lower dinosaur from deck to hand. The main thing is that it's not once per turn, so if you open 3, you get 3 searches. Unless your opponent ashes or rolls. Then I play 3 of the, what I think is the dumbest spell in this deck. 3 copies of Ground Xeno. As, if you see Ground Xeno plus Baby, you have your full combo. But Ground Xeno has the effect that you can activate it to add a normal dinosaur or a dinosaur tuner from deck to hand, and then destroy 1 card in your hand. And then once per turn while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to then be able to fusion summon a dinosaur fusion monster using monsters from your hand or field as material. You can only use each effect of Ground Xeno once per turn, and usually fusion summon is your copy of Transcendosaurus Gigantozauer. And that is it for the main deck. The main deck is 42 cards, so you can make it 40 by taking out an Amadorn and an Ultimate Conductor. I've honestly never needed the second Amadorn, but I like having the option. And you don't need to play 3 Ultimate Conductors. The other option is just take out the Lightning Storms. And that's just if you want to play a 40-card deck. I honestly like 42. And there are some changes I would make with the extra deck, mainly being I would take these 2 out for Link Kuriboh and Secure Gardena. I just don't have a Link Creebo at the moment, but one of my friends does, so soon I will have a Link Creebo. But the main reason you want them is because you activate Amadorn's effect, add Pill, then you link off the Amadorn, there's your dinosaur, so for a Link Creebo, then you link off the Link Creebo for Secure Gardena, and now you have a Cyberse and a dinosaur to activate for Pill, or for Pill's activation. The main reason is just because you never need another Gigantozauler, and I guess the other card I might take out if I want to keep the second Gigantozauler, since technically Kashtira is still a thing, might be take out a Draco Berserker instead of the second Gigantozauler. I just don't know why I want to change. I just know I do need to add Link Creebo and Secure Gardena into the deck. Anyway, for the Link monsters for the monsters I do play, I play one copy of each of these other nightmares: Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. Their only effects that matter is that when on their summon effects, which is they each discard a card, target one card your opponent controls, and then Unicorn will shuffle into the deck. Phoenix will target a spell or trap to destroy, and Cerberus will target a monster in your opponent's main monster zone to special summon and destroy. And then I play one copy of Scrap Wyvern. Scrap Wyvern has two effects you'll use, which is once per turn you target a scrap in your graveyard, special summon it, then destroy one card you control. And then if a scrap monster was destroyed by card effect, you can special summon a scrap monster from your deck, then destroy one card you control. Which, usually what you'll do is you'll summon Golem off this effect and then destroy Wyvern, so Wyvern's in the graveyard for your Savage Dragon. The other thing you can do is use Wyvern to abuse your baby effects, so that you can keep getting more things to fill in your graveyard. And then I also play one. I should be playing the one copy Gigantozauler, though I wouldn't mind playing the two, like I said earlier. But Gigantozauler has the effect of when this card's special summoned, you can target a dinosaur in your grave, add it to your hand. And then if this card's destroyed, you can shuffle a normal monster back into your deck, summon this card, which normally what you do is you'll destroy on your opponent's turn with Tyranno. Then you'll summon it, have it target a baby in your graveyard, add to your hand and destroy baby and one card your opponent controls. So with this and Tyranno, the two by themselves is a Book of Eclipse, and then you get to target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Then I play one copy of Cyframe Lord Omega. Omega is in this deck just so you can take your banished miscellaneous or any of your other banished monsters that you want in grave, put them back. The other thing is Omega can put any banished card back into the graveyard, so if for some reason you need it, you can actually put Ground Xeno back in your grave or any of your spells, but I don't know why you'd be doing that instead of just putting the banished miscellaneous back in grave. But Omega also has two other effects where once per turn during the main phase, or during your opponent's main phase, you can banish it to then be able to banish one random card from your opponent's hand until your next standby, where it will summon itself back. And then during the standby phase, I believe it has to be your opponent's though. One moment. Let's see, during the main phase. Okay, now so its effect to banish itself can be done during either player's main phase. It just returns at your standby. And then during your opponent's standby phase, you can target one banished card, put it back in the grave. And then its last effect is if this card's in the graveyard, you can actually target one other card in your graveyard, shuffle both itself and that targeted card back into the deck. Then for Last of Synchros, I play one copy of Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Ching Ying, one copy of Baron de Fleur, and the one copy of Warlord Savage Dragon. Ching Ying is in this deck because it's a level 10 worm, so it's really easy to summon off of cards like Xenometeorus. Just activate Xenometeorus effect, destroy a baby, summon Frostosaurus, summon any level 4, and you can either make a level 12 or rank 6 with using Frostosaurus in the thing, or you can use Xenometeorus and a level 4 to make Ching Ying, for example, or Baron de Fleur. And then you can just fuse the Frostosaurus with something else with Xenomute or Ground Xeno. But anyway, changing has the effect of your opponent's monsters lose, or it gains 100 attack and defense for every banished card. Your opponent loses an equal amount for each banished card. And then if a card is removed from play, you can banish one card from opponent's field and grave. And then finally, if it would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish one card from your graveyard instead. Baron has the effect of during the standby phase, you can target a level 9 or lower monster in your grave, special summon it, and then put Baron back in your extra deck. And then once while it's face up on the field is a Omni Negate, where it just negates the effect, so it does not destroy. And then its last effect is once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. And then Borreload Savage Dragon has the effect of when it's special summoned, I believe. Let's see. This card, no, it has to be synchro. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target a link in your graveyard. Equip this card with that target. And if you do, it gains half the attack of the equipped link monster, and then it gets Boral counters for each link rating that monster has, so normally it gets 2. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can remove one Boral counter to negate that effect. And then lastly, for the extra deck, I play 1 copy of Evilzar Lars, 1 copy of Logia, and 1 copy of Dolka. Dolka is a effect where if you activates a monster effect, you can attach material to negate that effect. And then if you do destroy it, Logia, if your opponent would activate a spell or trap card, or summon a monster, you can detach 2 materials, negate the summon or activation if you do destroy that card. The main thing with Dolka, though, is that it's not once per turn. It only detects 1, so Dolka by itself is 2 monster negates. And then Evilzar Lars has the effect of when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can detach 2 materials, target 1 card your opponent controls, and negate its effects till the end of the turn. But if both materials are reptile or dinosaur, you can detach 1 material instead. Which I love using Evilzar Lars just because it is actually as far as I can tell, an out to Branded Fusion while Branded Loss is in play, as Branded Loss prevents you from negating the activation of the fusion card, whereas Evilzar Lars just negates the effects. But anyway, that is it for my deck profile. Like I said, I'll probably take out Draco Berserker or probably take out Draco Berserker and Underworld Goddess for I already forgot his name. Link Kuriboh and Secure Gardena. But if you have any ideas what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas decks I see in the future, or decks I can see face each other, such as Hero and Dinosaur, for example, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching.